Those who are joining online, so in the last session, we discussed about Spring Web MVC and we have done the implementation also for Spring Web MVC. So let's open the implementation only and we will see how that architecture is followed by our project. So this is our architecture for Spring Web MVC, where how client will talk to the backend, how backend will do CRUD operation, how login sign up request will be forwarding, and all we have seen here. So this was our project Spring Web MVC. So we were using the Maven approach to create the project here. And in that we were having the src main and web folder, which will come with the default index.jsp file. Now we will start learning the things from this only. Because whenever a server is opening something, it will open the index file. In our index file, there is just a simple HTML tags like HTML, head, title, body. In body, we have one H1, that is Spring Web MVC application. And we are having one anchor tag. And anchor tag is going to welcome, not welcome.jsp or HTML. First, you have to understand that I am writing one anchor tag like this. There is one anchor tag who is not pointing towards any page. Welcome.html, welcome.jsp. No, it is not pointing towards any page. It is pointing towards a request, that is href welcome. So now let's follow the architecture here. Client has sent one welcome request. So at first the dispatcher servlet or the front controller will accept that. In web.xml file, we have defined that our servlet name is Spring DS, which is a dispatcher servlet. Here we have written the fully qualified class name, which is a dispatcher servlet. And we have mapped the Spring DS, means our servlet, to a URL pattern that is slash. Means if you are sending one welcome request, it will be going by slash welcome. If your URL pattern is slash abc slash, then request will go like this slash abc slash welcome. But right now here we have just defined slash, means our request will go by a slash. Now this web.xml, here we have defined our servlet and servlet mapping. Here we have defined the servlet and servlet mapping, which is our dispatcher servlet, which is our dispatcher servlet. Request will come to this servlet. In the architecture, servlet is first sending the request to handler mapping, because is there any controller defined here? So the answer is no. Here only servlet is defined. Then where are the controllers? So you have to create one XML file for that. How? Your dispatcher servlet name hyphen servlet.xml. However, it is not necessary to do like this only. So here we have created one file with the Spring context DTD that we have copy pasted here. And at first I have given context colon component hyphen scan base hyphen package. So here I am providing the package name that is having all the controllers, because same package we have created in src main java com.spring.controller. Same package we have created there. And then I am this is for controller. Now Spring servlet, or you can say the dispatcher servlet, will forward the request here. It will go inside this package and find which controller is accepting the request of welcome. Inside this you can have multiple controller. It will check all the files which is having the request like this: get mapping, post mapping, put mapping, delete mapping, request mapping, like that, slash welcome. Automatically it will check and it will return the name to dispatcher servlet. After returning the name, dispatcher servlet will contact to the login controller. Login controller will say, okay, I am doing, and it will return model and view. So here you can see that our welcome controller is returning model and view with the file name. It should be your file name, whatever your file name is. If your file name is hello.jsp, you should write hello here. So in the same way only you have to write the things. So in Spring Servlet, after that I am creating one bean. For which class? Internal resource view resolver class. It's a inbuilt class of a Spring framework. And it takes two things: prefix and suffix. Prefix, I am saying that where my JSP files are available, because when controller is returning model and view, then you are sending the request to view resolver. So which class we are using here? Internal resource view resolver. Now we are giving it two things, that you have to go to which folder? Slash views, and slash means you have to go inside the views folder and check all the file which are ending with .jsp, because there can be some HTML file also, some static files. So we are saying that you are checking just .jsp files. That's it. It will resolve, it will combine the model and view. It will combine the model and view, and that's it, how it is working. And then welcome controller. At first, this class is a controller here, and this method is accepting the welcome request and returning the view. And in the views, we have welcome.jsp file, just a normal HTML file, which is publishing this message and all those things. So that is how basically our Spring Web MVC is working. Well, I will make some little changes here and we will understand a bit things. There is one controller that is known as at the rate of controller. Same way we have at the rate of service. Same way we have at the rate of repository, right? And these three are same. These three are same or not? Yes, stereotype annotations, but they comes with a difference. Now to this controller, I will say that you are not a controller, you are a service. You are a service. And we will start our application, that is Spring Web MVC. So first page is loading perfectly. That is Spring Web MVC application. Check welcome message. I will click on this and we got error. No endpoint get. That there is no point available for slash welcome. But here our method is there, which is accepting slash welcome. The class name is service. And in Spring Servlet, you are providing the base package for controller, and it will only find the controller class. Whichever class is the see the architecture, the handler mapping will only search all the controllers. Means if your class is a controller, then only it will be sending the data to front end, working as a get or post request. Service will not work here. Service will be working when database is working there, when you are sending to data or the repository level. Because service and repository both we have seen in data JPA, where we were extending the JPA repository, that we were marking as at the rate of repository, and then service implementation we were marking as service. But here we have to keep controller only. Here we have to keep at the rate of controller only, like this. So we will start the application now. Again, and here we got the message that welcome everyone. Here we got the message that welcome everyone, because now we have the controller for it. And the handler mapping will find the controller will return model and view, then internal resource view resolver will create the page and give to the client, right? So that is how this particular part is working. We have seen one more controller, that was at the rate of rest controller, right? We have seen at the rate of rest controller as well. Controller and rest controller. Now let's try to understand what is the difference between them. So here we will start the application. And you can see that rest controller is also opening the same page. Welcome everyone. Now it is the time to understand the difference between controller and rest controller so that you can understand the things. Okay. So let's start. Controller versus rest controller. So we have seen that both are working same. There is no difference in them. But there might be some internal working difference or something will be there. At first, at the rate of controller. So whenever we are working about this particular thing, controller is a simple annotation. Controller is a simple annotation which is traditionally used in Spring Web MVC. Spring Web MVC to return views. What it will return? It will only return views like JSP or HTML view. Like a JSP or HTML view. The return type of controller or at the rate of controller will be usually, or the return type of controller usually will be a string, which will be the name of JSP or HTML file. JSP or HTML file like this. So here we are seeing that this is our at the rate of controller. So if you check here, we are just returning one string kind of thing. MV, what MV is having one string inside it, and that we are returning. So usually we will return one string only. So here this is your controller. If you want to write an example, so the same example I will keep here without any change. Like this. In the above example, the controller is returning one welcome.jsp page whenever user is whenever user is requesting for slash welcome, whenever user is requesting for slash welcome, this is a normal control. It will not do too much thing. Okay. Sorry. Loudly, please. Sorry. Okay. REST controller. Okay. Okay. No problem. So this is your controller annotation. Now we are will discuss about at the rate of REST controller. At the rate of REST controller. This annotation is used to create RESTful web services. RESTful web services where the response is JSON or XML. Where the response is JSON or XML. At the rate of REST controller annotation is generally used to create APIs. To create APIs. At the rate of REST controller is the combination of, it is the combination of two different annotation, that is at the rate of controller plus at the rate of response body. At the rate of response body. Actually, this response body and all these all are previous methods that we were using to create APIs. Now REST controller will do the work of them. So internally it will combine these two annotations. Now that we will see whenever we are creating the APIs. So here we'll provide you one note. If you are returning, if you are returning a view, then keep at the rate of controller. And if you are returning, and if you are returning the object data in the form of JSON or XML, then write or then keep at the rate of REST controller. So it's very simple, like you. Could you just say once again how it will take a particular controller from a set of controllers? Yeah, sure, Nikhil. So your question is, if multiple controllers are available, how it will select one particular controller, right? Okay, so we will make some short changes in our code. In index.jsp, I will create one more anchor tag. What I will do, I will create one more anchor tag, and in that anchor tag I will write second controller, second controller, and whose href I will write as second. Whose href I will write as second. Very simple. One is welcome and another is second. Now what I will do, I will go to the welcome controller class. At first I will keep at the rate of controller here. Now can I say that it is the welcome controller? Answer is yes. Same way, I can create another method here only, or else I can go outside. So in the controller package, I will create one more class, second controller. It will control the flow of second controller. Now this class I will annotate with at the rate of controller. Now in our application, how many controller we have? Two controllers. And inside this we will create a method also. Method like public, model, and view scnd. You can create anything actually. And here we will create the object of model and view. Model and view mv equals to new model and view. File name I will write here as second, and we will return this mv. Like very simple, like last time only we are doing simple thing. In the views folder, I will create one file that is second.jsp file. And inside this, I will just write one boilerplate code. And in H1, I am just printing the second controller like this. Okay, very sorted. Now we will start our application. So this is how our application is coming now. That check welcome message and check second controller anchor tag. What I will do, I will click on this second controller. And here you are getting that no endpoint get, that there is no method or there is no get mapping. So we will go to the second controller. Our method is not having at the rate of get mapping. Get mapping of which request? Slash second request. Restart the application. And again we got the project. Now again I will click on second controller. And this time we got the second controller. How it is finding that okay, this is my own controller? Whether it is finding or not, that also we should check. So what I will do, in the second controller method, I will attach one print message that says out second controller is called, like this. so that on console we will get this message whenever this method is getting called. In welcome controller also I will do the same thing. Before returning the page, I will attach one print message to the console that welcome controller is called. Welcome controller is called. Now here I will click on check welcome message. I'll click on this. We got the welcome everyone page. Now I will check the console. In console, we are getting that welcome controller is called. Means it know that which controller I have to call. Now I will go back and click on second controller. And in console, we got the message. Now let's understand that how the handler mapping is able to find the corresponding controller. So I will make the same scenario again. This is your client, right? This is your client. Client is sending one request. Now we have two requests, either slash welcome or second. So just suppose you have sent a welcome request. The request will go to the dispatcher servlet. It will transfer it to handler mapping, right? This is the dispatcher servlet. Here you have a handler mapping. And to the handler mapping, if you see carefully, here we have given the base package com.spring.controller. So to this handler mapping, we have given a package. Which package we have given? So here we have given that go to com.spring.controller. This is the package where you have to go. Now in this package, there will be multiple controllers. At first, it will find all the classes which are marked with at the rate of controller because they are the controller, either controller or rest controller. So at first, it will remove all the classes which are not having at the rate of controller. Which are having at the rate of controller, it will select those. Now inside this, it will find a method which is accepting the mapping of the request name. So inside the controller, it will find at the rate of get or post mapping with the request name. How is your request coming? Your request is having welcome. So it will find one method who is having at welcome, who is having welcome here. So like this, the it is finding the respective controller, because if a request is going to controller, request will have a point, right? Or you can say a name. A request will have a name. The same name will be searched by the handler mapping wherever all the controllers are written. So like this, it is finding all the controllers. Now understood? Okay, sure. So that is how your Spring Web MVC actually works. Okay. There is one line here. However, nowadays there is no trend of using, there is no trend of using JSP. There's like no trend of using the JSP page. Then what we are using? We have several front-end technologies. We have several front-end technologies like React, like Angular, like Vue, like Next.js, or Norm or Vanilla JS or Vanilla JS. So now, like no one is writing code in JSP for front end. First is this. All of you will write your front end code in React, in Angular, in Vue, in Next.js or in Vanilla JS. Then what is the role of front end? So the role of front end, Spring Boot, the role of Spring or Spring Boot will be to create APIs that will be used in the front end, that we will be used in the front end. So here we have seen Spring Web MVC. Now we are going to see Spring Boot Web MVC, that if we are using Spring Boot, how we will create that. Okay. If we are using Spring Boot, then how we will follow this MVC architecture. So at first we'll create a new Spring project for it, and project name we will keep as Spring Boot Web MVC. Spring Boot Web MVC. Group ID as com.jpa, package as com.jpa, and next. I will add the dependency of Spring Web and Lombok not required here. Only the Spring Web I will create and I will finish. So here project is getting created. Here our Spring Boot Web MVC is created, and I have written, or you can say I have added the Spring Web dependency. So I will start the main application as a Spring Boot app. Click OK. and it will start Tomcat on the default server that it is 080. Now, if we are going there and hitting localhost 8080, we will get white label error page that this application is not having any mapping. Now let's try to understand here. In Spring Boot Web MVC, how the folder structure is: src main Java, src main resources, and below you will have src main and test2 thing. So let me mention the steps because you can get some problem here. Implementing implementing web MVC design pattern using Spring Boot. Using Spring Boot. So follow the steps only and it will become very easy. Step 1. Create a simple Spring Boot project by adding the dependency of Spring Web. By adding the dependency of Spring Web. Like this, simple. After creating the project, the folder structure will look like this. Like this. You will get src main Java, you will get src main resource, and this will be your folder structure. This one. Now, can you see this src main resource, and inside that you will see this static and template folders, right? In src main resource, you are getting application.properties file. You will get static and template also. I think in the starting I have written the that architecture or the folder structure. I'll show you. Wait. Folder structure of Spring Boot. So you can see in src main resource, you will get static and templates folder as well. So what does it stands for? Static folder is used to keep all the static web files. I like HTML or CSS. Template folder, we will keep our dynamic web files like JSP and all. So already it is giving you the folder, and I have also written it that time only. Now, does it mean that if I am creating one HTML file inside this static folder, so in this static folder, I will create index.html file like this. In the static folder, we will create index.html file, and let's try to write a boilerplate code. HTML with the head will have title is Spring Boot, head will be followed by body, and inside body we are just showing one h1 tag that it is the Spring Boot Web MVC project like this. Okay, restart the application. We'll go to main file, and here let's restart the application. And what we got? Spring Boot Web MVC project on localhost 8080. We got this? Sure. We got this. So in the step 2, what you will do? In the step 2, what we will do is inside src main resource, you will find two folders. First folder is static folder. We keep all our static files like HTML file or CSS file inside this. And what we will do, there will be one templates folder. We keep all our dynamic files inside this like JSP files. Okay, now what we will do, in the static folder, create a HTML file and name it as index.html and index.html, and start your application. In your browser, open the port, open localhost colon 8080, and it should open your index.html file. So like this you will do. And here we are getting our file as well, right? This one. Now in the same file, what I will do, I will create one anchor tag. And here I will type first controller. I will create some BR tag after that, and then one anchor tag again where I will click write second controller, first controller and second controller. And the first controller will be pointing towards first, and the second anchor tag will be pointing toward second. I'm not writing file name. What I'm writing? Controller name or the request that I'm sending there, like first and second. Restart the application. And here we got first controller and second controller. By the way, there is no mapping we have written. I will click on this and we got it. We'll go back. We got this. Now let's try to write something. Using the base package, I will create one controller package, right? Earlier also we have done it. So using the base package, I will write the controller package. And inside the controller, at first I will create a class here, class for first controller. You can create one class. Inside that you can create multiple method. You can create multiple class as well. First controller class, I will keep at the rate of controller here like this. And inside this, I will create one public. Now here, if I am saying public model and view, public model and view first method, I will create like this public model and view. So like this I will create. Create the object here model and view mv equals to new model and view file name. We have to create two files now. So in the templates folder, I will create one file as first.jsp and second.jsp. So inside this two files we will create. And here file name is first. File name is first. Very good. And here I will return mv. And when it will be returning this, whenever it is getting the mapping of first like this. So simple. Like last time only we are doing it here. I will attach one print message here. Sys out first controller is called. First controller is called. Let's restart the application. So here we got, we'll refresh. And again, we are getting the same thing on localhost 8080. I will click on first controller. And again, it is saying that white label error page. White label error page. And if you check the console, here first controller is called. First controller is called or not? Yes. Means request is going till there. Request is going till there. So why we are not getting our first.jsp page? Answer is very simple, by the way. Here model and view will not work like this. My question is, where is your dispatcher servlet? We don't have any dispatcher servlet. We don't have any web.xml file. We have not created any spring.ds.xml file. We have not created. All those things are written internally in the Spring Boot. Then how it will work? So we will make some changes here. What changes we will make? So here model and view I will remove. And here I will create one string here, that the return type of this method is string, public string first. And there is no model, nothing like that. And it will return, what it will return? It will simply return the file name, that is first. That is first. First is the file name, right? First is the file name. So I will keep the simple first. Like this only I will keep it here and restart the application. We'll open the localhost 8080 again. Again, we will click on first controller and again it is hitting that this application has no explicit mapping / error, means it is not able to reach first. But our first controller is getting called here. Our first controller is getting called. That what is this? Our first controller is getting called. Why it is not returning us this particular page? It should return us this page. So here only one particular concept comes in action, that is called model. What does that call? Model. In the string first, I will create as one attribute, that is model, like this. What I will do? Model. And here you can set some of the attributes to this model and all, that we will do later. What if now I am changing this from controller to REST controller? We have seen one difference, that here it returns the JSON data or XML data and that returns the view. So restart the application now. So we'll go back and restart. We got localhost 8080 on first. Now we are getting first written here. Now we are getting first written here, but this first is coming as a string. But if it is loading first.jsp, so let's create some content inside JSP file. So HTML and here head, inside head title is first controller. Head will have body and inside body h1, that this is the first controller page. So like that we have just created a little bit of things here. So a little bit we have created, and in first controller we are returning first like this. Again I will keep it as a controller only, no REST controller, because by keeping the controller we are getting the output in this format, and we want our JSP file or HTML file to be loaded there. So at first what I will do, I will rename the file. I will rename the file to HTML only. That first dot HTML and second dot HTML. HTML like this. Save and restart the application. Okay. Refresh first controller and it is still hitting with the same error. And when we are checking on the console, first controller is getting called. Now this is a point where dispatcher, servlet and other things are to be configured. Let's understand one error here. Circular view path first would dispatch back to the current handler URL / first again. check your view resolver setup. And what it is saying, dispatcher servlet in the context with path through exception. Mean there is something, it is working, right? It means that our dispatcher servlet is working somewhere. Then why it is not visible to us? Why we are getting the error? And what is this circular dependency, circular view path? What is this? Why we are not getting the file? So let's try to understand one thing here. What if I am creating the first.html file inside the static folder only, that is new, and here file that is first.html, and it is having the same code as well, like this. And in the index.html, I am writing first.html. File name I am writing instead of writing any request. First.html. Like this I am writing. Now restart the application. We'll go back and restart. Go back, start, and we got our page here. Means Spring Boot is working, but there is some problem in the controller part. Now we will verify the controller again. So what I will do, will delete this first.html file, very sure. And from index.html, we will remove .html. We have one first controller. Here only I will create one more class, that is second controller, like this. I will mark it at the rate of controller, like this. I will mark it at the rate of controller, like this. Inside this, I will create one public string, and or you can create model and view. Public model and view second method. This method will be called whenever at the rate of get mapping. Whenever someone is requesting for second, this method will be called. Here model and view mv equals to new model and view second return mv. So something like very simple we are doing. I will attach one print message here, that is sys out second controller is called. And in the first controller, we have written the message first controller is called. Now we will check whether the mapping is working fine or not. So start the application. We'll go back and refresh. I will click on second controller. Error we will get. Click on second controller. And here second controller is called. Means our application knows that where it has to send the request, but it does not know how to display the page. How to display the page. Go back, refresh first controller, and here first controller is called. Exact what controller or what request you are sending to the application, it is getting accepted, but with a wrong output. Output is not correct here. We'll go back and understand a simple thing. My question is this: where is dispatcher servlet, where is dispatcher servlet, and where is internal resource view resolver. Yes, where is dispatcher servlet, where is internal resource view resolver? Are you creating that somewhere? Answer is no. If we are not creating, then who is creating? Spring Boot itself. If it is creating, we should know about it. If it is creating, we should know about it. Here comes one thing into the action, that is called thime leaf. That is called thime leaf. It is a modern server-side Java template engine. Thymeleaf. It comes as a dependency, by the way, Thymeleaf. And this is their original website, thymeleaf.org. We use it too much. But now also this is like the replacement of JSP, by the way. We don't use JSP here. We use Thymeleaf. So Thymeleaf is a modern server-side Java template engine for both web and standalone environment. What is this? Inside the HTML only, you can write the Thymeleaf code. Means you can convert one HTML page directly to a dynamic page. Your HTML will behave like a dynamic template. Like this, it will create. So what we will do, or before that, let's understand the difference between Spring Web MVC and Spring Boot Web MVC. Difference between Spring Web MVC and Spring Boot Web MVC. Because whatever problem we are getting in Spring Boot is not a problem, it is a feature of Spring Boot. So let's understand that. Or wait. Here we will write case and how Spring Web MVC will work on that, and how Spring Boot Web MVC will work on that. The first case is setup. The first case is setup. In Spring Web MVC, what was the type of setup we were doing manually? In Spring Web MVC, we have to manually set up the dispatcher servlet and handler mapping and internal and view resolver in Spring Web MVC. We have to do it manually. In Spring Boot Web MVC, all these things are configured automatically. All these things will be configured automatically. That's why you are not able to see how dispatcher servlet is working, how internal view resolver is working or something it is working. Automatically, internally it is going on. Server. In Spring Web MVC, we were using the Tomcat server, which was configured by us. We were going to runtime and then selecting. We have to manually set up the server. Either Tomcat, any other server name you know other than Tomcat? Any other server name than Tomcat? Those who are joining online, anybody of you knows about any other server other than Tomcat? Glassfish. Yeah, correct. Jetty is there. Jetty. Undertow is there. Undertow. Glassfish is there. Lot are there. But Tomcat is highly used. Eureka is a cloud server. Apache, WebLogic, all these are the provider. Eureka is a client cloud server. We will discuss about Netflix Eureka server. Highly used are Tomcat, Jetty, and Undertow. In Spring Boot, by default, Tomcat is embedded. By default, Tomcat is embedded. View engine. What is the view engine? Just now we discussed about one view engine, that is Thymeleaf. Same view engine. Whenever you are discussing about Spring Web MVC, it supports JSP or Thymeleaf. It supports JSP and Thyme. Mean in Spring, when we normal Spring also you can use Thymeleaf, but here Thymeleaf is recommended. Means strictly you can say that you have to use Thymeleaf, but you can also use JSP. But JSP means you have to learn a new type of coding language. Thymeleaf means HTML will work. Thymeleaf means whatever your HTML is, that only will work. XML. Do we require XML in Spring Web? Yes. We were doing a configuration using XML only. Answer is yes, but it is optional. You can do Java configuration also, but that is complex, very complex. Yes, but optional. But in Spring Boot, no. XML is not required. That is the particular difference between this entire Spring and Spring Boot Web MVC. Okay. These are the difference between Spring Web MVC and Spring Boot Web MVC. So whenever you created a Spring Boot project by writing normal thing, Spring Web MVC and all, no need to configure any dispatcher servlet, any resolver. But what you have to add, you have to add timely fair. So go to MVN repository, or you can directly go to pom.xml file, and there will be one section add Spring Boot starters. So there search Thymeleaf. Tomorrow we will discuss it, not today. Thymeleaf template engine. Click on Thymeleaf, click on next. It will give you the dependency of Thymeleaf. Where it is giving. So you can go to MVN repository only and search Thymeleaf there. Thymeleaf. Here, if you check the Thymeleaf version, they are coming like this. So you have to go Spring Boot Starter Thymeleaf. Spring Boot Starter Thymeleaf. This version you can use, and the Spring Boot version that we are using is 3.4.5. So you can click on the same one, go and copy paste. You can add it as a tomorrow again. I will discuss the same thing. Don't worry. But version is not required here. If you want, you can remove the version as well. Okay. And that's it. Now we'll close the server and start. Now, when I clicked on second, I'm not getting any error. What I'm getting? Empty page, because our second page is empty. Now let's try to write a something inside second.html page. So what I will do, I will write HTML here. Inside HTML head, inside head title, I will write title is second. Then body, inside body we will write h1 tag, and second controller. Tomorrow again I will show you the same application. Start, restart the app. Second controller, and we got the page. So like this you will handle the, and here how much it is easy, very easy. Just add the Thymeleaf starter, done. All those internal steps are not there. No need to configure any source, no need to configure any nothing. Thymeleaf sorted. That's how Spring Boot is so easy. But internally it is using those dispatcher servlet, those internal resource view resolver, everything it is using internally. Everything. You don't have to configure. Tomorrow again I will show you the application, and we will create one project. Uh, tomorrow Tomorrow we will create another project. The text to emoji project we will create using React. Okay. Got it? This creating project I will show you tomorrow. Fine guys, we'll connect again tomorrow. Bye bye. Take care everyone.